Are self-directed IRAs dangerous for your financial health? Well, they certainly can be, kind of like electricity or crossing the street or maybe even dynamite. Hello, my name is Brian Ellis. I am the CEO of the Self-Directed Investor Society. I'm going to talk with you a little bit about the danger of self-directed IRAs and how to avoid that danger. Think about Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore is the carving thereon is one of the most amazing pieces of art in the world. It is astounding. It is simply stunning. And yet, it couldn't have happened without dynamite. And yet, dynamite can also hurt you really badly. So too electricity. So too crossing the street if you do these things wrong. But if you use them correctly, everything's going to work out just fine. So here's the thing. Isn't an IRA, even a self-directed IRA, just a retirement account? Really, what's the danger? Well, here's the danger. The danger is ignorance. Specifically, ignorance leading to your committing what's called a prohibited transaction. So what is a prohibited transaction? There are some technical definitions, but I'm going to narrow it down for you like this. If you use your IRA's money in such a way that the IRS thinks that you are benefiting yourself or your family or any of your businesses using that money, then that's a prohibited transaction. Now, yeah, you can withdraw the money from the IRA, and that's okay. Then you can use the money however you want. But while the money's in the IRA, if that benefits anything other than the value of that IRA itself, then you've got a problem. That's a prohibited transaction. There are a lot of ways you could do that, from as simple as borrowing money from your own IRA all the way to buying a piece of real estate that happens to be too close to yours, and the IRS categorizes this as kind of a conflict of interest. There are a lot of different ways you can commit a prohibited transaction, but the idea is that it is a misuse of the tax benefits that you're getting. You're getting the tax benefits of an IRA, but you're also using that money in the here and now. They don't like that. So what happens if you commit a prohibited transaction? Well, it's pretty ugly, frankly. You can think of it like this. Take whatever the total balance of your self-directed IRA is, and multiply that by, or divide it by 2, multiply it by about 50%. That's probably about what it's going to cost you, maybe more. We generally tell people 40 to 60% of the value of the entire account is what a prohibited transaction typically costs, but it can be a lot more because the IRS really pegs people who commit prohibited transactions with massive taxes, penalties, and interest because they've got you. There's nothing you can do. The law really doesn't provide a way for you to fix the problem once you've committed a prohibited transaction. So it's a big, big deal. So here's the question. How do you avoid prohibited transactions? That's important. First, get educated, understand what they are conceptually, and understand several examples of what they are specifically. I gave you one example, borrowing money from your self-directed IRA. Another one would be compensating yourself for managing your IRA. Hey, a really common one is maybe you're a real estate agent and you buy a piece of property in your IRA, and your IRA pays for it, and that's all fine, but you take a commission for that purchase. Well, that's prohibited, and a very common prohibited type of transaction. So there are a lot of ways, but you need to get educated about how prohibited transactions work just so you can understand when you're getting in the danger zone. And by the way, the very best way to start that education, bar none, is to text the word IRA guide with no spaces or no periods to 833-212-2112, and that will get you a free copy of the Definitive Guide to Self-Directed IRAs, which my wife Carol and I wrote, and it is truly that. It is the Definitive Guide to Self-Directed IRAs. It is the best way for you to start your education process and really continue it as well, where self-directed IRAs are concerned. So do that now. Text IRA Guide to 833-212-2112. So there's another thing that you can do other than just generally getting educated, and that is this. There is a 3-step process, a 3-step path to safety is how I think of it, that I teach in chapter number 2 of the Definitive Guide to Self-Directed IRAs. That chapter is called Not Everyone Should Use a Self-Directed IRA, Should You? And in that chapter, there is a 3-step process that will help you to avoid the cataclysmic danger of committing a prohibited transaction. If you just do those 3 steps with each of your investment transactions, you're going to stay in the clear. You're going to be just fine. Now, the third step, or the third way to avoid prohibited transaction, is not just get educated like we talked about in step 1, but always be learning more, because things change on a frequent basis. The IRS changes the rules frequently. It is very common for court decisions to be handed down that changes our understanding of what constitutes a prohibited transaction and what doesn't. All of these things are important, and they happen on a frequent basis. And so you need to always be learning, both to remain compliant and to make sure that you're getting the most benefits out of your self-directed IRA as possible. Because let me tell you, I don't care how flexible and how powerful you are aware that self-directed IRAs can be, they're so much more than that. So always be learning. And to that end, it's another reason that I strongly encourage you to go ahead and request the Definitive Guide to Self-Directed IRAs, because, well, it's not... My phone is going off constantly. Thank you for whoever just requested the Self-Directed IRA Guide. This publication, the Definitive Guide to Self-Directed IRAs, is not just an ebook. It's a subscription, essentially. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but we update this thing on a very frequent basis. In fact, it was updated literally just this morning. And every time we update it, we send it out at no cost to everyone who has requested it in the past. So you always have the latest, greatest version. So be sure to text the word IRA Guide with no spaces or periods to 833-212-2112. Your regular message and data rates will apply from your phone company, but we won't charge you anything. So, my friend, self-directed IRAs are powerful. And like Uncle Ben in Spider-Man said, with great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. All you got to do is understand what your responsibilities are and then steer clear of the clear red lines. And they generally are pretty clear if you just learn the basics and take care of business. Get educated. Make sure you follow the 3-step process that's in chapter number 2 of the Definitive Guide, and continue your education on a constant basis. Do that and you're going to be just fine. Your self-directed IRA will be a powerful tool and not a dangerous one. I'm Brian Ellis. Thanks for listening in.